Your consistent failures are synonymous with your lack of planning. Now, chapter 7, it said that the importance of a proper plan can be the only way a man can succeed and accumulate money. So let's dive into it. Reading chapter 7 of Think and Grow Rich, Organized Planning. Welcome back to another virtual reading here at ABH. We are currently reading and summarizing Think and Grow Rich. In our last video, we covered chapter 6, Imagination. Feel free to watch that and catch up on other chapters. Chapter 7 talks about the importance of organized planning and the best type of leadership amongst other things. Other things. Let's get to it. Okay, so this was one of the lengthier chapters in the book due to the fact there's a lot of lists. There's a lot of long list that I'm going to just discuss what the subjects were and dive into exactly how they explain them and the importance when it comes into it. Starts off saying, you have learned that everything man creates or acquires begins in the form of desire. That desire is taken on the first lap of its journey from the abstract to the concrete into the workshop of the imagination, where plans from its transition are created and organized. First, ally yourself with a group of as many people as you need for the creation and carrying out of your plan or plans for the accumulation of money, making use of the mastermind principle described in a later chapter. Compliance with this instruction is absolutely essential. Do not neglect it. Second, before forming your mastermind alliance, decide what advantages and benefits you may offer the individual members of your group in return for their cooperation. No one will work indefinitely without some form of compensation. No intelligent person will either request or expect another to work without adequate compensation, although this may not always be in the form of money. Third, arrange to meet with the members of your mastermind group at least twice a week and more often if possible, until you have jointly perfected the necessary plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Fourth, maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of your mastermind group. If you fail to carry out this instruction to the letter, you may expect to meet with failure. The mastermind principle cannot obtain where perfect harmony does not prevail. You must have the advantage of the experience, education, native ability, and imagination of other minds. This is in harmony with the methods followed by every person who has accumulated a great fortune. So what I take from this chapter is the emphasis on not only organized planning, but more importantly, surrounding yourself with like-minded people and building a team in a sense. That is one of the hardest things to do, is find like-minded people who can dream big enough and work hard enough without the payoff coming as soon as you need it to come, right? I did the music thing. One of the reasons I started rapping and one of the reasons I'm in front of the camera is because of the consistency of not finding like-minded people. My dream was always to be in the background, to be like a producer when it comes to the music, right? To just make beats. So like everyone else, I downloaded Fruity Loops. I was making beats, trash ass beats, but nonetheless, I was putting myself out there to be judged. I was teaching myself how to use software. That was a brave thing to do at 14, 15 years old, right? But what happens, and a lot of beat makers can attest to this, and a lot of producers, is when you're at the level where I'm at, where we're at, where you're at the beginning, where it's like a jungle, you always gonna run into somebody at a party, always at a party towards the end, drunk, people freestyling. Oh, my homie made beats. Oh, you made beats? Oh, bro, we gotta link up, I can't tell you how many emails, how many numbers I got from people that wanted to link up. I was new to California at the time. So California to me, current at that time, was like, I'm in California, I'm in LA, Hollywood, cause I'm from Tennessee, I'm from Michigan, from smaller cities. So I'm thinking, cool, like, yeah, let's do it. Everybody wanna rap, let's do it. And you email people and just, don't hear from them. You send them a beat. I mean, I remember I sent the guy a beat. I wrote the hook. I was like, yo, I demoed it. Yo, just sing it like this and hit these notes. Never did it. But the whole time was like hitting me up to work. Finally wrote something, didn't do it. So I was like, cool. Sent out the beat packs. Here go 6 beats. Let me know what you think. I did all that. Nothing. They probably took them, stole them. Who knows? But nothing ever came of it. So after a while, I was like, I'll just produce myself and rap. If you watch the Joe Budden podcast or the Joe Rogan, I would have loved to have been young Jamie or Parks, just behind the board, got a mic, throw a little one jab in here, doing research, not really a celebrity, not really the face. I'm comfortable now. I've been doing it for so many years. Now I'm comfortable in front of the camera. I don't prefer it, But here we are. When I'm reading this chapter, it kind of get at me because I understand. I'm like, man, I know like a team is way better. It'd be way easier if I could have somebody run the camera and do my composition and set up the mic and bring the topics and do the social. And all I had to do is get on this mic and be that. But it's just not possible, or it hasn't been possible for me. And I'm tired of waiting. So I'm gonna do it this way. If the first plan which you adopt does not work successfully, replace it with a new plan. If this new plan fails to work, replace it in turn with still another, and so on until you find a plan which does work. Right here is the point at which the majority of men meet with failure because of their lack of persistence in creating new plans to take the place of those which fail. But when you just out somewhere else, like, you have to get lucky and find that other dreamer that understands that the money ain't there, but gonna grind just as hard. They understand that it's gonna be a lot of no's before there's a yes. Like, you can see the quit in people's eyes, and you can tell when people are gonna fall off because they're not getting the results. And unfortunately, that's no fault to them. That's the average person. Like, things that we try to do when you're talking about you want to be a musician or an actor, those aren't normal dreams. Those aren't normal achievements. So you need people who think differently, and for me, it's been a hard thing to find. The most intelligent man living cannot succeed in accumulating money, nor in any other undertaking, without plans which are practical and workable. It is no disgrace to be a follower. On the other hand, it is no credit to remain a follower. The man who can follow a leader most efficiently is usually the man who develops into leadership most rapidly. The following are important factors of leadership: unwavering coverage based upon knowledge of self and of one's occupation, self-control, a keen sense of justice, definiteness of decision, definiteness of plans, the habit of doing more than paid for, a pleasing personality, sympathy and understanding, mastery of detail, willingness to assume full responsibility, and cooperation. There are two forms of leadership. The first, and by far the most effective, is leadership with the consent and sympathy of the followers. The second is leadership by force, without the consent and sympathy of followers. We come now to the major faults of leaders who fail, because it is just as essential to know what not to do as it is to know what to do. First, inability to organize details. Second, unwillingness to render humble service. Third, expectation of pay for what they know instead of what they do with that which they know. Fourth, fear of competition from followers. Fifth, lack of imagination. Sixth, selfishness. Seventh, intemperance. 8, disloyalty. 9, emphasis of the authority of leadership. And 10th, emphasis of title. Remember that it is not the lawyer who knows the most law, but the one who best prepares his case to win. Men are paid not merely for what they know, but more particularly for what they do with that which they know. Failure cannot cope with persistence. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. The person who takes no chances generally has to take whatever is left when others are through choosing. Overcaution is as bad as undercaution. Appreciate y'all listening to another episode of ABH. That was chapter 7, Think and Grow Rich, Organized Planning. Be sure to subscribe, watch your Julian on YouTube, High Key Yapper on TikTok. Appreciate y'all listening. Go watch all the other videos, all the shorts, all the content. Trying to run these numbers up, and I will see y'all at the next episode. I'm out.